disappointed not to be moved. Quote, I wanted a shot. We get into this with Ray Ferraro. We tape Ray today. He's actually in South Florida. I'm having trouble understanding how Joe Thornton didn't get traded if he wanted to be traded. Yep, to a cup contender or just at least a playoff team yesterday. 22 years in. And I don't know if this is the end for Jumbo Joe, if he's going to try again next year. It seems like he only wants to play for San Jose for the bulk of the season. Anyways, more with Ferraro in an hour.
As we've seen with the withholding of salaries. I think he's $2 million freight anyway, so you withhold.
He's not a big ticket.
You withhold 50% yourself. You'd be getting him at this point. I mean, you'd need like $100,000 in cap space. $200,000 in cap space. You'd get Jumbo Joe. Like, if you're a playoff team and you're on the fence about your fourth line center, like, why wouldn't you bring in Joe Thornton? I don't know. I don't get that one really either. At THN Ryan Kennedy, this is pretty awesome. NHL Seattle will fully subsidize public transit for all fans attending games.
I saw that. Very smart.
Very smart.
Very smart.
You'd think this, we've talked about the threats that professional sports have on other things to do in life. That should be a given if you're a professional sports team.
Well, particularly if you're a startup. You want to facilitate everything. You want to make it worth your fans.
If you're the BC Lions,
you're trying to win them over. Well,
if you're the Vancouver Whitecaps, I would do it for both of those teams.
Well, that's where I'm going next. That BC Lions signed Kenny Ladler. Welcome to the den. The Vanderbilt product recorded 156 defensive tackles, 5 interceptions in 2 seasons with Edmonton. He also got into a fair number of games in the NFL over the last couple of years. With Washington and the Giants, he got into 9 regular season games. And he was interceptions, he was forced fumbles. He was a bit of a playmaker in Edmonton. And a very good pedigree there in SEC school, Vanderbilt, where he was an all-SEC player. Piece by piece, I like where this Lions project is going. We'll see if they get pass protection and can fix that offensive line issue that they had last year. But last week they brought in the 2 veteran receivers, including the kid Rhymes, who led Ottawa in receiving yards last year. It wasn't the big bang rollout immediately after free agency like it was last year, but the totality of what they're doing and the quantity of good players they're adding over the course of the last few weeks, I'm starting to get more and more intrigued by what the Lions could do this year.
Some NHL goaltending, 2 here quickly. At Craig S. Morgan, Coyotes coach Rick Tocchet said goalie Darcy Kemper will play tonight against the Florida Panthers. It's on. He was on a Vezina Trophy sort of projection, was Darcy Kemper. Can he change the fortunes of a very middling Desert Dogs team? And one I didn't get to yesterday, at Jesse Granger, the Golden Knights now have 2 of the top 4 finishers in last year's Vezina Trophy vote. Yes, in case you've forgotten because of his stinky season this year, Marc-Andre Fleury was 4th in Vezina voting last year. Leonard was 3rd. Now, again, Fleury's been bad this year. But come playoff time, could he elevate if he only plays maybe 2 or 3 games out of a series? I think it's possible they platoon there. Hot hand gets the crease, and you could see Fleury rise to the occasion.
I think too many people are being deferential towards Marc-Andre Fleury here. I watched the TSN panel yesterday, and God bless them, Marty Baron and Jamie McLennan, former goaltenders. I can understand that they hold Henrik Lundqvist and Marc-Andre Fleury in very high regard, but I think Leonard's going to be the guy there. And I'm with Dreger, too. As much as Edmonton got, I think, a bit more of the headlines on trade deadline day by adding the speedy wingers and adding the...
Vegas did well. Vegas did well.
I think you secured the most important position on the ice.
And the one that can steal your games.
And the one that you were weakest at. So I realized it was a decent cost.
Yep.
But Leonard has been unbelievable. Like, last year he was out of this world. And, I think between the 2 of them, so long as the coach doesn't screw it up, I think you're looking at a very interesting combination there. And you should have the ability to be good in goal going forward.
Leonard's save percentage this year is the same as Jacob Markstrom. So if you hold Jacob Markstrom in high acclaim, they just got themselves a Jacob Markstrom.
At YYZ Sports Media, it's a blog on Toronto Sports Media. They retweeted the David Feschuk column in the Toronto Star today. Take a listen to this kicker on Kyle Dubas, the Maple Leafs, and what didn't happen yesterday. Quote, hearts aren't available for draft picks. Souls aren't sold for prospects. Guts can't be inserted into the core of your roster with a tweak around its edges. It is getting some tough on Kyle Dubas and the Maple Leafs after effectively, as we joked yesterday, an AHL trade deadline where they nibbled around the edges with guys who were kind of NHL players, kind of fringe guys, quad A guys, didn't address the stay-at-home defenseman. And look, I think a couple of things. Number one, I understand it was a seller's market. The Leafs have sold all sorts of pieces in the past, including a first-rounder, just to get Marleau off the books. I can understand if Dubas and his team looked at it and said, you know what? These guys better figure it out. Either we believe in them or we don't even think they're worth adding to at this stage. But the fact of the matter is the NHL and its salary cap structure, you don't have big windows anymore. And I do wonder how much more open the Toronto window is going to be beyond this year if they can't find a way to reverse fortune. I mean, they're on a playoff spot, but you know what I mean.
They got to look themselves in the mirror right now and figure it out. Otherwise, the center of the universe is going to melt down.
Jeff Patterson is a presentation of the ICBA. ICBA trains thousands of workers every year in everything from how to be a better foreman to industrial first aid to managing spreadsheets. Want to take your career up a level in 2020? Check out training at ICBA.ca. Jeff joins us from the Bell Center in Montreal, where the Canucks tonight begin the Thatcher Demko sort of era. Experiment. Necessity with Jacob Markstrom out. Hello, Jeff.
Yeah, it better not be an experiment. Some of those other terms apply, but if this is an experiment that goes poorly for Thatcher Demko and the Vancouver Canucks, then they're going to be in some trouble here. I mean, they are above the playoff bar. But we know that the road record's been a bit of an issue. This is a pivotal four-game stretch. I mean, every game obviously is big from here on out with 21 to go, but they got to prove that they can rack up points away from home. Maybe not at the rate that they have at Rogers Arena, where they have been absolutely fantastic all season. 20 of their 33 wins have come on home ice, but road wins have been hard to come by for the Vancouver Canucks. Just 6 of them in the last 16 games away from home. So 4 and 6 out on the road here, but I think an opportunity certainly tonight, and another one in Ottawa on Thursday, and then towards the back end, the Leafs are a wild card, and that fourth game in 6 nights in Columbus is going to be difficult, but they can't worry about the next 3. It's all about finding a way to get a job done here in Montreal to start things tonight.
The Leaf game. Oh, sorry. The Leaf game, I think it's a wild card. I don't know what to expect there. But these next 2 against 2 teams that ran up the white flag, for lack of a better word, yesterday, you do wonder if they lick wounds here for the next week or so before they sort of get their chin up again.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Ottawa put up a pretty good fight in Columbus last night, minus a couple of players to start the game. So you never know. Carey Price on his own can be the great equalizer. He is 13-2-2 lifetime against the Vancouver Canucks. They just have not found a way to solve Carey Price. So he gets the start. We talked about Thatcher Demko at the other end of the ice. They don't play head-to-head, but Demko's got to find a way to, put up a performance that equals or betters Carey Price's, and that's not going to be easy. Price coming off a 30-save shutout in Ottawa the other night. So, again, he looks like he's back sort of on the form that he's had at other times in his career. But you're right, they sold 3 pieces off the roster here in the 24 hours leading into the deadline. So they're going to have some filler in their roster tonight, and we'll see if the Vancouver Canucks can capitalize on that.
Demko 10-6-2 here on the year. He has started 2 of the last 11 Canucks games. The last win was that terrific home performance against the St. Louis Blues late January. And, of course, he did get a brief spot in the goal when Markstrom got hit in the eye with that stick on the weekend. Our poll question today, Jeff, we're asking what's most at stake for Thatcher Demko here while Markstrom is out. Does he have a route to the Canucks job? Would it be a starting job elsewhere? Is it simply going to be more starts going forward? And then Blake was looking at the last time they went to the playoffs. So you'll remember this, my friend. Ryan Miller was touch and go to come back for the start of that series, and Eddie Lack wound up starting a bunch of games before Miller got the crease back in that series against Calgary. Are there playoff starts potentially available for Thatcher Demko if he shines here going forward?
It feels like a long shot just knowing the relationship that Travis Green has with Jacob Markstrom and the fact that he has seen him, in playoff hockey at another level when they got to the Calder Cup final together in 2015 in Utica. But that said, if the Canucks are able to get to the postseason, it's going to mean that Thatcher Demko has held up his end of the bargain here, and we don't know how long Markstrom's going to be out. So, yeah, it's a great audition. Again, this is game one tonight. He's just got to get through this one, and they've got to get through it. It's hard to make any great proclamations about what this is going to mean, but it is an opportunity. And every goalie wants the net. Not enough net to go around, obviously. So, Demko's been patient. He's worked his way into this position. He is a legitimate National Hockey Leaguer. That much we know. But an every night guy, well, we're going to start to find out beginning here tonight.
Is Troy Stetcher just like hugging everybody he sees? Just so glad that he's still here?
He looked a little calm and relaxed this morning. I just had a brief exchange with him. We didn't talk to him formally. But, he laid it out there for all. It was pretty apparent how much he wanted to stay in Vancouver and play for Vancouver. And, even went to the point of saying, never had a Stanley Cup at Vancouver. He wants to be a part of that. Imagine that, like a homegrown guy getting an opportunity. A lot of ground still to cover, obviously, but he's going to get the chance to play out this season. Where it goes beyond that, who knows? But, I think the Canucks are better in the short term, obviously, for having him and not peddling him away. And you know what you get with Troy Stetcher. You get an honest effort each and every night, and had a little run of bad luck there where a couple of pucks went in off him, but he was good on Saturday, as they all were. And we'll see if they can use that, sort of as a springboard out here on the road. I mean, they're not going to get 9 every night. We know that. It doesn't happen very often. It hasn't happened for a couple of decades. But just to get that many guys involved in the scoring and feeling good about themselves, especially ones that, hadn't scored in a while, I think there was a lot to like in Saturday's game. Most importantly, it was the 2 points, and that gets them 2 points closer to locking down their first playoff spot in 5 years.
We know Sutter was sick, and he's in. Is he in, or is he in? He's in.
Yeah, same 18 skaters as the other night. The only change is Thatcher Demko. So, unfortunately for Jordy Ben, homecoming, but not a happy one for him. Of course, played here the last couple of seasons. He's the odd man out with Oscar Fantenberg back. So, that's got to be difficult. But, a veteran guy who, as Travis Green has said throughout when he parked Jordy Ben, that he's handled it very well. Doesn't want to rock the boat, certainly. But, there are some nights where you can accept a healthy scratch. I imagine that this was one when he signed in Vancouver that he imagined he would be in the lineup when the Canucks got back here to Montreal.
All right, Jeff, it's time for everybody's favorite pregame feature. Who's got to do something tonight?
Time now for Do Something. Whoa! Whoa! Oh! Found this interesting. Not surprising, but interesting with JPAC. Whoa! 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 Do something.
All right, the easy choice would be Thatcher Demko, and of course he does have to do something, but I'm going to dig a little deeper. Not that this is going way off the board or out on a limb by any stretch, but Quinn Hughes comes into action tonight with 49 points in this sparkling rookie season of his. One more will get him 50, and he's on a run. He has been lights out all season. I think even better since the All-Star break, which, in some ways it's hard to believe that he's ramping his game up as these games get tougher down the stretch. But it just kind of feels like a natural. I feel like I'm stealing, not that we're wagering on this, but it feels like you'd be stealing money to think that Quinn Hughes isn't going to get the point that he needs here tonight to get to that 50-point mark, which just, again, is incredible. The Canucks have it's been 25 years. They've been in existence 50 years. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary season. It's been a quarter of a century since they've had a defenseman register more than 50 points. Christian Ehrhoff got to 50 on the number during the Pete Sedin era, but you got to go back to Jyrki Lumme in the mid-'90s, the last time a defenseman racked up more than 50 points. Quinn Hughes is just going to blow right through that target number, but he had a chance to get to 50 tonight, so he's my guy to do something to get the Canucks off on the right foot here on this 4-game road trip.
Wonderful stuff, Jeff. You'll catch up with the fellas post-game. Appreciate this. We'll talk to you tomorrow from the nation's capital.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thanks. That's Patterson Jeff. Doug Litzer's got to be sweating. His 63 is very much in peril from 86, 87.
Yeah, it is.
Have you talked to your neighbor, Mr. Lumme, or as he is known in Finland?
I have not
about young
seen him
Quinn.
recently. I've not seen him recently. I haven't seen him since the block party in the fall.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps he's making very good use of that sauna.
Yes, perhaps. Yes.
Yes. We should get Jyrki on
Perhaps never coming out.
to see what he has to say about young Quinn. They play the game much differently. He was a trade deadline acquisition for the Canucks all those years ago. From, matter of fact, Montreal.
Yeah, he was.
Where he tells the great story about Pat Burns. He goes, I just thought he hated me. Then I made the team. And then on opening night, he comes to me and he says, kid, you're going to play with that Robinson guy. That's going to be your defense partner.
It's an okay launch. Yeah.
That's not a bad way to make your NHL debut. At the Forum with Larry Robinson.
Let's face it, there's been no Vancouver Canuck defenseman that has played the game quite like Quinn Hughes.
No.
He's taken an early claim here.
On the other side, Tessa Bonhomme. She is a part of that 2010 gold medal winning women's hockey team here in Vancouver. It is actually the 10-year anniversary dates today where they beat the United States 2-0 in the final. We're going to get her recollections as part of our Olympic series, including that wonderful celebratory scene with the beer and the cigars at ice level. It's coming up. Sakara's Price and the Alpine Credits pregame show on TSN 1040.
You're on the voice of Vancouver sports.
TSN 1040.
2019 is in the rearview mirror, the fabulous rearview mirror of maybe your 2019 Audi from Audi downtown Vancouver. That's right. They still have some kicking around. In fact, 20 different models to choose from. So go pick out yours at the 2019 model clearout at Audi downtown Vancouver. Up to $25,000 in savings on select models, plus 4 years service included as well. So get there now. See Chris O'Neill and his great team at Audi downtown Vancouver on the corner of Burrard and 2nd, part of Dilawri Group of Companies. Blake Price with Peter Krzyzewski. And Peter, a lot of people here in your commercials may get the impression that they don't have enough money to be an Everything Financial client.
I really hope that's not the case. But if it is, we should clarify. Everyone is a potential Everything Financial client.
No matter where they are financially.
Blake, we have portfolio managers with low-cost investing from your first dollar, and you'll never be hit by high embedded mutual fund fees.
If you're ready to begin the journey, take the first step and call Everything Financial in Langley or Victoria, online at everythingfinancial.com.
And now, with the Giants report, here's Rick Dhaliwal.
Giant superstar defenseman Bowen Byram starting to round into form, and that is bad news for the rest of the Western Hockey League. The 4th overall pick of the Avalanche extended his point streak to 11 games on Saturday with a second period assist. Over the course of that streak, Byram's got 22 points, 7 goals, 15 assists. He's now got 42 points in 43 games and is a plus 16. Since capturing a gold medal with Canada at the World Juniors, his play has reached a new level. Since January 31st, he has recorded 8 multi-point games. At the rate he's going right now, you can expect more of the same down the stretch. I'm Rick Dhaliwal with the Giants Report.
The Giants Report, brought to you by White Spot. Enjoy the great taste of White Spot to go. Order takeout online and save 20% off your first order and 10% off every online order after. Some conditions apply. Visit whitespot.ca for details.
Vote on today's Subway Fresh Take Poll question now at tsn1040.ca.
Beyond Meatballs are exclusively at Subway. Try the new Beyond Meatball Marinara Sub today.
Listen to TSN 1040 at home on your smart speaker. We're always available on your Google or Sonos device. Just say, "Hey Google, play TSN 1040."
Streaming TSN 1040 from TuneIn.
Get TSN 1040 on command.
Ford cars and trucks are built tough, just like Jordy Ben, number 4 of your Vancouver Canucks.
This is Jordy Ben of the Vancouver Canucks. I've been told I'm tough on the ice, and I wanted a tough vehicle to drive around Vancouver, and there's nothing better than an Ocean Park Ford from Ron here. I have a Ford F-150. The thing's absolutely beautiful. The gas mileage is crazy good, and the back of the truck has got so much room for dogs and kids, and they've had a long-time relationship with the Vancouver Canucks, and I'm just grateful to be a part of a new generation of Canucks that are coming through with Ford tough trucks.
Ron Ford and the team at Ocean Park Ford are proud of their association with Jordy. With over 6 acres of new Ford cars and trucks for your next Ford F-150, you won't find a larger selection in the Lower Mainland. It's tough to beat Jordy Ben, and it's tough to find a better dealer than Ocean Park Ford in the South Surrey Auto Mall on the King George Boulevard in South Surrey.
Extra ball! Brings BC plays to their feet!
There's a new wave, a new decade, and it's a brand new start.
The Whitecaps FC season kicks off this Saturday. Join the wave. Go to whitecapsfc.com/wave.
Hi, I'm Brian Scudamore from 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Are these the young people I've heard about?
Yes, sir. These are them.
All I have to do is point?
Yes, sir. All you have to do is point.
But what if I pointed at that? Oh, my. I could go to like this.
We like it too, sir.
You were here in less than 90 minutes.
And we work until midnight, 7 days a week.
When you want junk to disappear,
all you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
There's always been 2 ways to invest. You do it yourself, or you hand over your money and your control. But what if there's a smarter way to invest? BMO Advice Direct keeps you in control while giving you easy-to-follow advice and trade recommendations personalized to your portfolio. And it's the only digital investment product of its kind. Get up to $2,000 when you sign up for Advice Direct today. To learn more, visit BMO Advice Direct online. Conditions apply. Advice Direct is a product of BMO Investorline.
I'm Scott Roberts in the CTV newsroom. Several protesters have been arrested in East Vancouver as police move in on a demonstration blocking a busy intersection for 24 hours. Plus, should dangerous dogs labeled as aggressive get a second chance through rehab? Tonight on CTV News at 6.
This is something that ownership wanted to make this move.
Catch Bob McKenzie Tuesday mornings during Halford and Bruff, only on TSN 1040.
Leanne McLaren with your TSN 1040 traffic update. There's a crash in Vancouver, Burrard Street at 12th Avenue. A stall in Burnaby, Marine Way eastbound right before the Queensboro Bridge in the left lane. And Massey Tunnel southbound on the 99, backing up from Blundell. Chop Steakhouse and Bar presents Steak Masters. Join culinary champion